Welcome to SATV News. This is Tusha Amin with our headlines. Jamaat spreading lies to mislead people ahead of polls, says Fokhrul, holding separate referendum to cost additional taka 1,000 crore. Government committed to hold free, credible polls, says Election Commissioner MD Anwarul Islam. Not considering strikes in Venezuela, says US President Donald Trump. Now in details. BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir today accused Bangladesh Jamaat-e-Islami of misleading the public by spreading lies about the upcoming national election. A party is saying BNP wants to delay the election, but it is they who are actually trying to derail the polls, he said while speaking at a rally of freedom fighters. Mr. Fokhrul also said that BNP has never called for delaying the election. Referring to a recent remark by Jamaat's Naibe Amir, Syed Abdullah Muhammad Tahir, Fokhrul said the Jamaat leader wrongly blamed BNP for obstructing the election. The country is passing through a very critical time, he added. At the same time, he said BNP made huge sacrifices and faced severe repression during the long struggle against what he called Sheikh Hasina's fascist rule, which led to the success of the July uprising. The BNP leader further said that holding a separate referendum would cost an additional taka 1,000 crore. Meanwhile, BNP Standing Committee member and former Minister of Commerce Amir Khosru Mahmud Chowdhury said today the upcoming national election should be held in early February. He, however, blamed that a conspirator circle has been intending to delay the election. The BNP leader came up with the comments while addressing a Rajshahi Divisional Business Conference at the Jila Parishad Auditorium here as a chief guest. He also said if voted to power, BNP will ensure primary treatment free of cost, and it's BNP's commitment. Besides, the former Commerce Minister said BNP will initiate democracy in the economy so that all citizens can get equal scope and participation. He further hoped that all the people will be linked with economic activities for the country's overall development in the upcoming days. Election Commissioner MD Anwarul Islam Sarkar has reaffirmed the government's commitment to ensuring free, fair and credible national elections scheduled for February 2026, saying that all necessary preparations are well underway. He made these remarks while addressing a day-long workshop titled Identifying the Challenges and Ways to Overcome Them in Performing Duties of Polling Officials in the Electoral Process, held at Kodak Trading Center at Kuakata in Potuakhali today. Around 60 officials from election offices of 8 Upazila in Potuakhali and representatives from various government departments took part in the workshop. Speaking as the chief guest, Anwarul Islam said recent amendments to the Representation of the People Order have strengthened the electoral framework. He further urged all election officials to carry out their duties with integrity and without fear or favor, ensuring that every step of the electoral process reflects public confidence and fairness. Chief Justice Dr. Syed Rifat Ahmed has called a full court meeting involving all judges of the Supreme Court's appellate and High Court divisions. The meeting is scheduled to be held at the Supreme Court on Tuesday. The announcement was made in a notification signed by the Supreme Court's Additional Registrar, MD Asif Iqbal, today. According to Supreme Court sources, the meeting will address several important issues, including the transfer and promotion of subordinate court judges. Chief Advisor Dr. Mohammad Yunus said it is possible to build a self-reliant Bangladesh through the operation of cooperative-based economic activities. He also said that the interim government has taken various initiatives to modernize and energize the cooperative sector. The chief advisor made this remark in a message on the occasion of the 54th National Cooperative Day today. He said it is possible to build a self-reliant Bangladesh by conducting cooperative-based economic activities in areas such as agriculture, fisheries, animal husbandry, savings and credit and cottage industries. Besides, he said, with equality and equity, the country will be built by cooperatives. Like every year, the National Cooperative Day is being celebrated with due dignity across the country. On this day, Dr. Mohammad Yunus extended his heartfelt greetings and congratulations to all cooperatives and countrymen. Journalists across Bangladesh held demonstrations on Saturday demanding the implementation of the No Wage Board, No Media policy enactment of a journalist protection law, introduction of 2 weekly holidays, and repeal of all anti-media black laws. The protest, organized under the banner of the Bangladesh Federal Union of Journalists (BFUJ), highlighted a 39-point charter of demands aimed at ensuring press freedom, fair wages and journalist welfare. At a center rally in front of the Jatiyo Press Club in Dhaka, BFUJ Secretary General Kader Ghani Chowdhury presented the demands. Dhaka Union of Journalists DUJ President Shahidul Islam presided over the event, which was also addressed by Jatiyo Press Club President Hassan Hafiz, BFUJ Senior Vice President Obaidur Rahman Shaheen, Vice Presidents Khairul Bashar and AKM Mohsin, and several other senior journalists. We're taking a short break. Stay with us.
Hotel and Resorts, জল্লার পার, জিন্দাবাজার, সিলেট, বাংলাদেশ।
বাংলাদেশে দীর্ঘ ৩৭ বছরের সাফল্যের অগ্রযাত্রায় এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন আধুনিক ও শৈল্পিক স্থাপত্য শিল্পের দেশ মালয়েশিয়ার কুয়ালালামপুরে। লাখো গ্রাহকদের প্রয়োজনের দিক লক্ষ্য রেখে নিশ্চিত, বিশ্বস্ততা ও আন্তর্জাতিক মানের সেবা এখন ডোর টু ডোর। এসএ পরিবহন কুরিয়ার অ্যান্ড পার্সেল সার্ভিস SDN BHT 120 Jalan Tun HS Lee 50050 কুয়ালালামপুর, মালয়েশিয়া। এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস আপনার সেবায় সবসময়।
Explore the magnificent view of Rangpur. 5-star facilities, rich chain hotel, Grand Palace. Relax in spacious rooms and suites. Enjoy local and international cuisines. Banquet and conference room. Helipad. Gymnasium. Beauty salon. Restaurants and bar. Cafe lounge. Experience luxury at Grand Palace, Rangpur.
Welcome back. You're watching SATV News. Now news from abroad. President Donald Trump on Friday denied he was considering strikes inside Venezuela amid intensifying expectation that Washington may soon expand drug trafficking-related operations. The United States has built up a large military presence in the Caribbean in recent months, with fighter jets, warships, and thousands of troops. The presence will significantly expand in the coming weeks with the arrival of the Grand Fleet aircraft carrier strike group. On Friday, when asked on Air Force One if media reports that he was considering strikes within Venezuela were true, Trump said no. However, it was not immediately clear if Trump was ruling out future strikes inside Venezuela or simply saying no final decision had been made yet. The Israeli military has attacked the Gaza Strip for a fourth day, killing at least 3 people in another test of the fragile US-brokered ceasefire. Gaza residents say they fear a return to Israel's full-scale bombing as they struggle to find food, water and medicine during the US-brokered truce. Meanwhile, the Red Cross said it transferred the unidentified bodies of 3 people to Israel after they were handed over by Hamas. Israel's genocide on Gaza has killed at least 68,527 people and wounded 170,395 since it began in October 2023. A total of 1,139 people were killed in Israel during the October 7, 2023 Hamas-led attack and about 200 taken captive. Israeli Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir called for the execution of Palestinian inmates in Israeli prisons and detention centers as he stood beside a row of Palestinian prisoners being abused while lying on the ground with their hands tied behind their backs. In a footage shared on his personal Telegram channel on Friday, Ben-Gvir addresses the camera while pointing at a dozen detainees face down in front of the Israeli flag. The Israeli minister and chairman of the Ostma Yehudit party stated that Palestinian prisoners are being held under minimal conditions. But there is still something that must be done, the death penalty for them, he stated. He further highlighted the severe detention conditions he had enforced on Palestinian prisoners, a subject he has repeatedly flaunted in recent months. Several foreign ministers will meet on Monday in Istanbul to discuss the Gaza ceasefire and the next step needed, Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan said on Friday, adding that Turkey was concerned over whether the ceasefire will continue. Speaking at a press conference in Ankara, Fidan said the meeting would include foreign ministers who meet US President Donald Trump in New York in September, adding that talks were continuing on forming a Gaza task force and stabilization force. The attendees will include the foreign ministers of the UAE, Qatar, Jordan, Pakistan, Indonesia and Saudi Arabia, Turkey's foreign ministry said. Fidan also said efforts to keep the ceasefire in Gaza in place were continually being made, adding that there were obstacles posed by Israel to the inflow of humanitarian aid to the Strip. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney said on Saturday that he had apologized to President Donald Trump over a political advertisement targeting Americans that had drawn the ire of the US leader. Carney, speaking to reporters after attending an Asia-Pacific summit in South Korea, said he had made the apology privately to Trump when they both attended a dinner hosted by South Korea's president on Wednesday. The ad commissioned by Doug Ford, Ontario's outspoken conservative premier, uses a snippet of Republican icon and former President Ronald Reagan saying that tariffs cause trade wars and economic disaster. Carney also confirmed that he had reviewed the ad with Ford before it aired, but said he had opposed using it. In response, Trump announced that he was increasing tariffs on goods from Canada, and Washington has also halted trade talks with Canada. US, the United States and the Canada will not restart trade talks, said Donald Trump. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung said on Saturday that leaders at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation gathering hosted by his country had been able to reach a consensus on trade and investment smoothly. He said the leaders had adopted 3 agreements on artificial intelligence and demographic change, including a joint Gyeongju Declaration. During a news conference, Lee said that South Korea would overcome challenges in relations with China and look forward to Beijing taking a bigger role in dealing with North Korea. Lee also said that he was no longer worried about ties with Japan after meeting new Prime Minister Shinzo Takaichi for the first time this week. China's southern tech hub of Shenzhen will host the 33rd Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Economic Leaders Meeting in November 2026, President Xi Jinping said on Saturday. Delivering a speech at the APEC handover ceremony, Xi addressed the importance of building an Asia-Pacific community and said the long-term development and prosperity in the region can only be achieved through the shared vision. China is willing to take the opportunity of hosting next year's meeting to work with all parties to build an Asia-Pacific community and to promote growth and prosperity in the region, she said. Cuba's top prosecutor accused former Economy Minister Alejandro Gil and other unnamed accomplices of crimes ranging from espionage to bribery on Friday in one of the largest publicly disclosed corruption scandals to hit Cuba in decades. Gil was sacked by President Miguel Diaz-Canel in February of 2024 and had not been seen or heard from publicly in over a year. The top prosecutor did not provide a date for the pending trial, nor did it provide any further details about the nature of the charges. The statement did not disclose the identities of the remaining accused. The Attorney General said in its statement on Friday that those accused would be provided due process according to Cuban law. Gil, once a close confidant of Diaz-Canel, spearheaded a major monetary reform in Cuba in 2021, largely seen as disastrous for the Cuban economy. Dutch centrist party D66 won the most votes in Wednesday's general election, news agency ANP said on Friday, putting party leader Rob Jetten on course to become the youngest ever prime minister in the Netherlands. With almost all votes counted, pro-EU liberal D66 can no longer be overtaken by the far-right Freedom Party led by Geert Wilders, according to ANP, which collects the results from all municipalities in the Netherlands. D66 is now expected to take the lead in a first round of talks to form a coalition government, a process which usually takes months. With around 18% of the votes, the party will need at least 3 coalition partners to reach a simple majority in the 150-seat lower house of parliament. Jetten on Friday urged mainstream parties from the left to the right to unite. Moldova's parliament elected a new prime minister on Friday to lead the small nation's bid to join the European Union and break free of Russia's political influence. Alexandru Monteniu, who is an economist, will manage a new government after recent election handed the ruling party of Action and Solidarity a fresh mandate to continue Moldova's EU drive. The parliamentary vote last month, in which President Maia Sandu's PAS won an outright majority, was seen as a rebuke to Moscow. Chisinau's Soviet-era ruler, which officials have accused of widespread political interference. Russia has denied the charges. Montenegro's government will need to weather significant economic headwinds and stubbornly high inflation, largely a result of Russia's 2022 invasion of neighboring Ukraine. Montenegro, who has worked outside Moldova for 20 years, including for the World Bank, has not previously held political office. At least 9 people, including 6 from one family, were confirmed dead following landslide that hit Boku and Win district in eastern Uganda. The victims included 3 children who were buried by mud in Yalit Parish, Cheshire sub-county, Boku district, after heavy overnight rainfall pounded the Sebi sub-region on Wednesday. The first incident occurred on Thursday morning in Boku district, where a mudslide buried a home, killing 3 children from one family. In a separate incident, another mudslide struck the neighboring Kin district on Wednesday night, killing 6 people. Before ending, go to the headlines again. Jamaat spreading lies to mislead people ahead of polls, says Fokhrul, holding separate referendum to cost additional Taka 1,000 crore. Government committed to hold free credible polls, says Election Commissioner MD Anwarul Islam. And not considering strikes in Venezuela, says US President Donald Trump. You're updated with our top stories so far here on SATV, and to know the latest news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.